ISIS gangs entered to Nineveh plain.
والأكثر من هذا يجي واحد يجبرك إنه تطلع من بيتك غصبا عليك مثل ما صار اليوم للمسيحيين.
نعم المسيحيين هاي أنا اليوم يعني ما يعني أنا بكيت اليوم بالبيت بكي والله يعني.
Iraq, historically one of the most enlightened countries in the world, where mankind first began to read, to write, to create proper cities, where Sumerians seem to have been the first to harness the wheel, to use irrigation and to weave textile. It is where it has been decided that a circle would be made of 360 degrees and that an hour would be made of 60 minutes, the base of our everyday life. This was Mesopotamia. This was Iraq. This is Iraq. But it seems hard to remember, as the country for the last 36 years has hardly known peace. Between the Iran-Iraq war, the Gulf War, the UN economic sanctions, the establishment of no-fly zones, the regular retaliation missiles sent on its soil, the confrontations between the Kurd forces of the UPK and the PDK, between the invasion of Iraq, the Sunni discrimination of Maliki's government, the emergence of the Islamic State, the bombings, genocides, displaced and refugee flows. This leads us to the month of June 2014, when, facing a very light resistance, ISIL took control over the town of Mosul. By doing so, they scared the world, because they pointed out the incapacity of the Iraqi government to protect its citizens from fanaticism. But for a community, this is not what meant first the seizing of Mosul. For them, it meant that they had to leave or die, and that their chance to survive in Iraq had finally decreased alarmingly. Because from this day, they had been completely expelled from where they had been living for 1,500 years, the Nineveh plain. In November 2016, following the offensive on Mosul, some of their towns have finally been liberated. But are some of them going to come back? What is their future? Today we are going to talk about the fate of the Iraqi Christians. Welcome on Politis.
قامي 6-8 بيومين حصل له يعني مخشكة بقدمته تقريبا بش نقشي هوانات البغدادي وبالنفس المضاد قرداي بش نقشي مدفعية فصبيرا يومين لكن يوم الثالث يوم 6-8 بصراحة يعني حصل له ذلك من كثافة بش حيله وثليلا يعني قطيلا ضحايا تريالو وبراتا وراب سهام.
This family, like many other Christian families, had a traumatic experience. They had to flee from one of the Nineveh Plains cities. We'll come back on them, but as soon as we'll have a few tips to understand who they are and where they come from. Alright, let's go to where it all started. Around the year 33 after the Common Era, Jesus of Nazareth died in Jerusalem. And then soon appeared Christian communities. Those Christian communities emerged in the current area of Iraq around 300 after the Common Era. At this time, the region was divided in two great powers which were regularly fighting each other: the Roman Empire and the Persian Empire of the Sasanians. So, some Christians were in the Roman Empire and some in the Persian Empire. Persians authorized the Christians to exercise their faith freely, the Romans seeing them as a political threat. used to persecute them. So the Christians were free in the Persian Empire, but persecuted in the Roman Empire. But then, the Roman Emperor Constantine, around 313, started to protect the Christians and Christianity, which soon became the main religion of the empire. So what happened? The protected Christians of Persia started to be seen as enemies, because they had the same religion as the big enemy, the Roman Empire. So before, the Christians were persecuted by the Roman Empire and protected by the Persians, and after Constantine, the Christians were protected by the Romans and regularly facing severe repression from the Persians, especially in times of war between the two empires. At the same time, there is one big question within the Christian community. This question is going to raise a lot of debates and divisions. So many questions that the Emperor Constantine had to organize a meeting, a special meeting where the people would discuss about it and finally take a decision. Then, what was that? What was this big question? 300 years after the death of Jesus, there were many questions. What was Jesus? Who was Jesus? What was God? So the question is about that. What is the nature of God? What is the nature of Jesus, of the Holy Spirit? Stuff like that. So the first big meeting, held in 325 in Nice, which is Iznik today, agreed on the fact that Jesus was God. Jesus was God. And it was a big debate, as I said, like, is Jesus God? Yes, Jesus was God according to this council. Another council, the Council of Chalcedon, held in 451, went further, agreeing on the premises of something that was not very intuitive, which is that, hold on, Jesus, the Son, is God, that the Father is God, and that the Holy Spirit is God, but that Jesus is not the Holy Spirit, that the Holy Spirit is not the Father, and that the Father is not the Son. It's called the Trinity Mystery. So, this one is the same as that, and this is the same as that, and this is the same as that. But this is not the same as that, so I put that, tac, tac. This is not the same as that, so I put that, tac, tac. This is not the same as that, it's good, but this is the same as that. So maybe this is like that, and then up like that, but it's a mystery. But if it's a mystery, problem, mystery. Tac, tac. The whole Roman Church agreed on this, but the Persian Church at this time had agreed on something else, defended by a theologian called Nestorius. And Nestorius' theories created another movement within the Christian community. You know, the history of the Christians there in this part of the world, it's pretty complex. It's not difficult, but it's pretty complex. It's like many other things in the Middle East, in this beautiful part of the world, it's complex. So in the next video, because we are here on a series about the Iraqi Christians, so in the next video we are going to see this movement of Nestorius and many other things. I would love you to put a like if you like this video. You know, it has been lots of work and effort to do this video. It was fantastic. I went to Iraq, I conducted many interviews, I've done lots of researches, so it would be very helpful if you could put a like. I would love to get many likes on this video, maybe 200 likes, 250 likes. It would be a very, very nice goal to achieve. So if you can help me on that, it would be fantastic. Yeah, so don't forget to put a thumb up, don't forget to subscribe if you haven't, and I would love to see your comments about the Iraqi Christians. Are they going, because we are on the retake of Mosul now, so are they going to go back in their town? Are they going to go back to Bartella, to Karakosh, or are they going to stay where they are? Are they going to go in a foreign country? I would love to get your comments on that, and I would love to get some Iraqi Christians talking about that. Thank you for those who support the channel on Patreon. Thank you so much for those who are going to support the channel on Patreon. The link is here. Also, something I wanted to tell you, I've changed the name of the channel. It's not Politis anymore, it's Foreign Chronicles. So I've changed it because Politis was used by many things, in fact, so it was pretty obstructed, so I couldn't take, for instance, the .com, and I want to do a website, so I needed this .com, this .org, so, and it's not the only thing, like the Facebook page, I couldn't get a name with Politis. So now I got Foreign Chronicles. I'm pretty glad about it. I hope you like it. So my name is Patrice Arras. Thank you for watching Foreign Chronicles, et à bientôt.